Dick Hard from Backstreet Boys.
Shout out to Boy Band Break.
It's Christopher Patrick here. Shout out to your podcast, Boy Band Break.
Everybody, this is Howie D, and I'm listening to Boy Band Break.
Hi, Ashley Parker Angel here. Huge shout out to the Boy Band Break podcast.
This is Brad from LFO, and you are listening to Boy Band Break.
Hey, what's up? This is Jacob.
It's Dan.
What's up? It's Trevor.
And it's Eric Michael, and it's time for Boy Band Break, baby. Let's go!
Bam, 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 bam.
Welcome back to Boy Band Break. We encourage you to take a break from your day and join us in some boy band conversation. As always, I'm Chinzia.
I'm Sofia.
And Lydia, aka Mama Lou, is not here again, but we have pictures to prove that she is still alive and well. So the reason she's not here with us today, so she is, as we mentioned in previous episodes, has been doing some VTuber stuff. And yesterday they had a karaoke night and she lost her voice because she is like online for like, I want to say like 3 to 5 hours every day, like chatting with people and interacting and stuff like that. So yeah, so
it takes a lot out of you.
It definitely takes a lot out of you for shizzle.
I think she's doing it every day, right?
She's doing it every day, yeah.
So yeah, that was
Sundays she does like cooking, which is kind of cool, and they have that. We showed that set up a few weeks back. Yeah. I guess Friday is karaoke. Tuesday and Thursday she does some other game. There's a lot.
She got a lot of views.
She is on, so she's actually getting. Yeah, and she had some collabs with people. So yeah,
some good traction. Well. Congratulations, Lydia.
Lydia. Yes. Okay. Sorry. I'm just getting to what should I show first? Oh, also, okay. So sorry we didn't have an episode last week. It was kind of a bit of a crazy week. But it was also Sophia's birthday. So happy birthday, Sophia.
Woo!
So we went to Toronto. Let's see if I can show you those pictures. Here we go. One of these days, I'll remember how to share the screen. Okay.
Facebook is where those ones are, but we also have.
Yes. I have
pictures on Instagram.
So there you go. So look, Lydia's alive and well. She's there. That's us at Union Station. They have all these really pretty little light things going on there. Very cute.
They added them by Christmas, and I guess they didn't take it down.
They're just keeping them. Yeah, they're neutral colors. Why not? There's Sophia. We're wearing our happy birthday headbands and a pin, and she's also wearing a necklace. So it's Pickle Barrel.
I still have that necklace from 3 years ago, I think it was.
You just hang it. Well, why not? We had French onion soup because of it.
It was quite delicious.
These are like mac and cheese balls. They're very good.
Mac and cheese poppers were delicious.
Poppers, that was it, yes. And it worked out because there was 3 of us and 3 of them. So good. Yes. What was this? Pickles? I think they were deep fried pickles.
Deep fried pickles, and then the chicken bites.
And then we had the hoisin chicken bites. So those were good.
Yum. Yes.
And then Sophia got surf and turf.
Yes, the 7-ounce sirloin steak with mashed potatoes and vegetables. My apologies if you are hungry. I hope you ate all your dinner.
Yes. Lydia got some fancy meatitarian sandwich with fancy bread. I can't remember. Reuben, maybe? I don't know.
I believe so, yes.
Something like that. And then I just got steak with a mushroom. And there's Sophia stabbing her steak. And then us cheersing our empty water cups. I gotta say, our waiter was very good at refilling Sophia's water. If anyone has not gone out to dinner with Sophia, she drinks a lot of water. He was very impressed, and it inspired him to drink more water, apparently. So
see, I'm trying to help people drink more water.
You know what? I'm just going to take a sip right now.
And
thanks, Sophia.
He's like, I wanted to bring you a new cup because this is what I like to do. And I was like, thank you so much, because not every waiter does that at restaurants.
Yes, we went on a trip once to Toledo, Ohio.
Yes.
And she would just keep pouring the water, but every time she poured the water, she added a new lemon. So by like the 8th refill, Sophia's cup was all lemons, and then just like a splash of water.
Splash of water. Good times.
Never not be funny, but yes.
Yes.
And then some cake. And there you go. Death by chocolate or something. Okay.
I think it was fudge. Chocolate fudge cake, yeah.
Speaking of cakes and cookies, I'm going to show Sophia's cupcakes that she bought herself. So right? Did you buy this?
I bought them, yes.
What you know what you like, and there you go. All right, so here we go. So
If you're not
explain
going to
to us,
buy them
Toby.
for yourself, who's going to buy them?
You know what? Why not? Exactly. You know you're gonna like it. So it looks like there's a lot of fun. There looks like there's an Oreo one, a Twix
Yes,
one.
like I said, there was Oreo, there was Kit Kat, Mars. I think there was a Mars one, and there was cookies and cream and a birthday one.
Sprinkle, and this is probably red velvet, maybe, or
Yeah, that one's
Ferrero
red
Rocher
velvet,
or something.
And then the Ferrero Rocher I got.
And then look at these
And
fun
then,
cookies.
so Simran from Guilty Pleasures Cafe in Vaughan, I sent her pictures. She's a jack of all trades. She does it all. She's a one-woman show. I gave her some pictures, and she said, "Let me see what I can do." And this is what she came up with.
Very cute. So we
This is the second year in a row that I did it, the cupcakes and cookies, because she did such a good job last year. So I was like, let's do it again.
Now this is the lady that Trish Stratus goes to, right?
Yes. So Trish has always promoted this shop, and I was like, why not try it? And she did not disappoint. Great cookies and cupcakes.
Yes. And for those who don't know, Trish Stratus is a wrestler. So if you're watching this, she's on the bottom left.
Yes.
And above her is a man wrestler.
This is Seth Rollins. Seth freaking Rollins. He's a male wrestler. He is one of my favorites. This is when I first met him in 2019 at SummerSlam meet and greets.
Nice.
When WWE used to do meet and greets. Now Fanatics does meet and greets, so WWE doesn't do them anymore.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. Is this Becky the man?
This is the man, Becky Lynch, who is his wife.
Oh,
she's awesome. Yeah, my two faves got married and have a child together.
Oh, very cute.
Yes, very sweet. And this was also when I met her in 2019 at the SummerSlam meet and greets.
Yes. And the Trish Stratus one was Montreal, right?
The Trish Stratus one was Minneapolis, Minnesota. Sorry.
Okay. And then obviously you have Nick and AJ from the Backstreet the Boys at 90s Con Tampa.
That's correct. The
ears,
you have
the Mickey ears. Yeah.
Yep.
And then the picture in the front is you and Nick from
Tampa as well, the first day of that one.
Very nice. Is there other? Yes. Oh, those are just close-ups of all the cookies. They're very cute. They're like square.
Yes. And then the packaging.
Nice. Gorgeous, darling.
Beautiful.
Was there anything else you wanted to share from your Instagram, or was that?
And then I had a cake that I got from Serrano Bakery as well. We did an evening. We did an evening cake as well.
Very nice. Happy birthday, Sofia.
Yes, that is my slice of cake that I had. But if you want to go on Facebook, that is the bigger cake. Is like there.
Okay. And you got your fancy nails did.
I did. Yeah. A nice birthday celebration.
There you go. Awesome. So happy birthday. Enjoy.
Thank you. I had a wonderful time celebrating.
Excellent. All right. What else did we have? Oh, there's a couple of boy bandy announcements before we get on to this episode. Let's start with New Kids on the Block.
Yes, let's. They have something that has brought back some nostalgic memories.
Yes. So the New Kids on the Block are promoting a new song that is coming out on, I believe, Tuesday, March 3rd-ish, 4th-ish, whenever that is, at 1:30 p.m. apparently.
March 5th. Yes.
March 5th. So the song is called Kids. So it's coming out. It'll be on YouTube. So go check that out. But the cool thing that they did is they brought back the New Kids on the Block hotline. So,
yes, this is the nostalgic that I was talking about.
Yes. Oh, don't want to play a thing. So basically, back in the day, they used to have a hotline that would cost like 99 cents a minute or something. And then they would just leave messages and fans would call and
parents would get updates
from them on the road. And then it would be their phone bills were very expensive. So this is allegedly free. I called it. It works in Canada and the US for sure. I don't know if it works international. So the phone number is 1-806-NEW-KIDS, which if you don't have a phone that shows you what that is, let me just get the actual number. Un momento, por favor. Okay, it is 1-800-639-5437. So 806-639-5437. So basically it's free. You call and then one of the guys leaves a message. I did not realize how quickly they update it. So I've definitely missed a few of them. I heard the very first one was Joey kind of like welcoming you to the hotline. And then like they played a clip of the song. And then
Donnie.
Then Donnie had a very long call where he was explaining how it works and all that stuff. Danny. So they're just taking turns. It's fun. Hopefully someone has recorded them all and put them somewhere. So if we find that, we will link it. Or if any blockheads are listening and feel free to link it below. People can check it out. Another thing they were doing is they were putting like these pictures that were like, what are they called? Silhouettes of the guys. So they had like, so then you had to guess who it was. So they're like, okay, obviously this one's Danny. Joey Mack, you can tell by his hair there. Which one was this one? Jonathan. And then it's a Donnie Wahlberg, but it looks like he's either blowing a bubble or something. So this is my response, what I thought it looked like. Thought it looked like a Muppet. Like, I don't think that's what it's supposed to be.
That was so
like,
funny.
As soon as I saw it, like, come on, guys, does that not look like some sort of like, I don't know.
That was very funny. I was like, oh my God, that's hilarious.
So yeah, so that's good. So that's what's new in the New Kids territory. Let's see what else.
In the New Kids world.
In the New Kids world. And speaking of other boy bands, okay. Joey Fatone of NSYNC and AJ McLean of the Backstreet Boys. We already announced a few weeks ago that they were doing Legendary Night. So this is basically kind of like what they did at 90s Con Tampa, where the two of them are doing a show on stage. They kind of sing each other's songs. There's apparently a wheel that you spin. And it's basically almost like them doing karaoke.
Apparently, there's going to be a third person there. And apparently it's a couch.
What?
I don't know. I saw something on Instagram stories that show that it could possibly be a couch is the third person or item.
So do you invite people up on stage to sing?
I guess, because I think there was one or two people there, like friends, because it was Joey and friends. So my guess is they're going to add some people. But I don't know. I saw like a couch as well. They love the couch that was there. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. So they originally had they already had 9 dates. They've added a bunch more. So I'm just giving a quick rundown of the new dates they added. They have gone on sale. They just went on sale this week. This is what they have for now. I don't know if they're going to add things eventually, depending on how sales are going. But so the first batch of shows are all in March, and then these ones are all in May. So May 23rd, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. The 25th is Denver, Colorado. The 26th is Omaha, Nebraska. The 30th is Niagara Falls, Ontario. Woo! Finally, we got a Canadian date.
Yeah, at least it's close to Toronto.
So yeah, it's at the OLG stage at Fallsview Casino. So it's not where Nick Carter was playing. Nick played the Avalon Ballroom, which is in the casino. This is the one across the street.
With the big sign.
It's bigger, so it holds like 5,000 people or something. So they're going to be there on Thursday, May 30th. The only other Canadian date is Friday, May 31st. And they're going to Windsor, Ontario, to Caesars Windsor. So that's like another casino. Then in June 1st, they hit up Chicago. June 6th, Grand Prairie, Texas. The 7th is Baton Rouge, Louisiana. 13th, St. Louis, Missouri. 14th is Columbus, Ohio. 15th is Kettering, Ohio. 21st is Grand Ronde, Oregon. Sorry if I fucked that up. 22nd is Lincoln, California. June 23rd, San Francisco, California. June 27th, Atlanta, Georgia. The 28th, Nashville, Tennessee. The 29th, Louisville, Kentucky. And then there's a little bit of a break. And then in July, on the 18th, they have Port Chester, New York. The 19th is Atlantic City, New Jersey. And at this moment in time. Their last show is July 20th on Oxon Hill, MD. Which one is MD? Maryland?
Maryland, yeah.
Listen, we're Canadian. I don't know all of the states. I basically know. But anyways, yeah. So pretty cool. Awesome that they've added some shows. I was just looking at it.
And they're going to be performing on Good Morning America.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
I believe so. It's
Sounds
one
like
of the
something they
morning
would be
shows,
doing.
but I believe
Yes.
it was Good Morning America.
Yes. So
And
awesome.
they
So
have
tune in for
the-
that.
Yes, and they have the eat and greet as well.
Yes, they're having that in New York, right? So they're doing dumpling making, I believe.
Yes.
Did that already happen, or it's happening this weekend, I think?
I think it's happening on the 4th. Yes. So
It
the
either
Sunday,
just
right?
happened, or it's happening when this episode is released. So
yes.
if anybody went to that and wants to come on the show and tell us about it, by all means, give us a shout-a-roo. I don't know why I said
Yes.
shout-a-roo, but you know,
Let us know. Why not?
Just
Shout out is fun.
Oh, yeah, check that out. So right now, there's still quite a few tickets available. They haven't opened the upper balcony yet for, Niagara Falls, but anything in the middle is their VIP ones that include a sound check as well. So they have that. Canadian pricing right now is $446 for that one. That does not include a picture, and then you can do individual meet and greets with the guys that do include a picture for about $275-ish, $300 Canadian. I don't know with the US pricing. But yeah, so that's at Please and Thank You website as well. So,
Yes.
okay.
I think that will be a lot of fun.
I think it'll be fun. I think those two are quite, like, Joey is a fucking ham. And so is AJ, really. So
AJ's a good time as well.
just like banter, tell jokes, like whatever. So it should be a really good time.
And I saw on his Instagram, he colored his hair pink.
Joey did, or AJ?
AJ, because he's ready for
AJ.
some fun times.
Why not, Aji? Enjoy your life.
Exactly.
Okay.
If you want to share that, it's on his Instagram story. Up to you. If not, we can move along.
Okay, hold on. Un momento, por favor. AJ.
I was like, wow, you're going nostalgic route. Back in the day, he used to color your hair all the time.
Okay, so Instagram story.
Hopefully it's still there.
Yeah, that's
There it
very
is.
pink. Good for him. Big Apple, here I come. So yes. Didn't Lance from NSYNC also color his hair pink recently? I believe he did.
For the Trolls movie as well, right?
For the Trolls, he actually did like all the different colors, like the rainbow colors.
right.
But now Lance is doing just pink.
Yes.
I have to say, I did pink during the pandemic, and I friggin' loved it. It was so cute, hot pink.
Hey, why not, right? Whatever
Why not?
makes you happy.
Yeah, that makes you. Well, I work in radio currently, so yeah, it's still viable. Oops, how do I?
And the 90s Con is coming up in a couple weeks.
Yes, so
They've
90s.
they added like a People's after party. They're going to be celebrating 50 years of the People magazine.
And the girl that is Ariel's voice in the original Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
Yes.
Jodie Benson will be there, and Drew Lachey and Jeff Timmons will be performing as well. So unfortunately this year we are not going to 90s Con, right? You're not going either.
That is
Nope.
correct. Yep.
It's a
I've
very
already
fun
done
event.
2 last year, so I'm good.
Well, there's quite a few 90s artists going to be there, but the only boy band members are Drew and Jeff, which again, love them. They're amazing guys, but it is a long ass drive out there. It's like
And we've already met them.
12 hours, and we've met them a bunch of times. So anyone who's going, I hope you have a great time, because they are super
It's
fun.
a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. 90s kind of super. I was debating volunteering, but then I was just like, then I got to get all the way over there. Then I have to like pay for my own hotel and all that stuff for like what, right? Which is good.
Yeah.
I love volunteer. If it was local, I would 100% have signed up for that. But yeah,
Sure. For
a little bit of
sure.
a struggle.
And it's pretty cool that 2 castmates from Dawson's Creek will be there, because
right.
who would have thought that anyone from Dawson's Creek would be there?
I don't want to wait. There's actually quite a few, like Marissa Tomei is there.
Yes, some of the 2 Academy Award winners, Gina Davis, I believe.
Gina Davis here. Oh, I found the page. Un momento, por favor.
Susan Sarandon.
Susan
possibly?
Sarandon. Yeah. So Gina Davis, Susan Sarandon, Alyssa Milano, Jodie Benson, Linda Larkin, looks familiar. Then you have all your people from Boy Meets World. So there's how many cast? 3, 6, 9, about 9 of them. The show Step by Step, it's their first reunion, I believe. And they got, let's see, 3, 6, 7, 8 of them. Melissa Joan Hart and a couple of people from Sabrina the Teenage Witch will be there. Beth Broderick, super nice. We've met her a few times. Lovely. They're all very lovely people. The cast of Hey Dude, which was another 90s people that I watched on Satellite Dish, but nobody here has ever heard of the show. So that's Christine.
But Christina and the other guy, what's his name?
David Lasher.
Sorry, David. Yeah, they have a podcast, a 90s podcast, so that's fun.
So they were the main characters on Hey Dude, so they were there.
Excellent.
So there, and there's some other characters. Then we got Jeff and Drew from 98 Degrees. Andrew Keegan is the 90s star. We got some Dawson's Creek people. We got James Vanderbeek.
He used to be in every 90s movie, that guy, Andrew Keegan.
Andrew Keegan was in a lot of 90s movies, for sure.
Yes.
Kerr Smith from Dawson's Creek. Mira Sorvino was in like Romy and Michelle's High School Reunion. Dave Coulier from Full House.
Full Empire Promotions has taken her on as a client.
Has taken who on? Mira Sorvino?
Yes.
Okay.
Dominic.
I love Dominic. Dominic's the best. So then Jody and Andrea, also from Full House, will be there. Candice Bergen is not this year because I think she's filming something. Yes. I forgot. Seventh Heaven is going to be there.
Seventh Heaven. I used to watch that show as well.
Yep. So a bunch of them: Barry Watson, Catherine Hicks, David Gallagher, Mackenzie Rosman, and then Marissa Tomei. So quite a big group. I'm actually impressed. They have quite a few shows represented. There's a bunch of new characters and older ones as well.
A little bit surprising that Beverly Hills wasn't asked back, like the cast. So interesting.
I think they've done it 3 times though, so I feel like they probably wanted to switch it up a little bit. What do you think?
Maybe, but I thought like they're very popular, so they would ask them again. Yeah. But yeah, it makes sense that they would switch it up.
And then the moderator is Kimberly Brown from Halloween Town, and then a bunch of People magazine editors. Rock star DJ Trey will be the official music guy, and then there's some artists.
He does a pretty good job. I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, he does some pretty good tunes.
Yes, he does for sure. Keeps the party going, and then there's also going to be some tattoo artists on site as well. So yeah, so that is March,
which is good because sometimes people get the artist's autograph and then go right away to get the tattooed on their arm. So
they can savor the moment and have it all done to not worry about it being washed off. So yeah, so that's
exactly.
So if you're looking for 90s Con at the time we're recording this, it's about 12 days away. It's March 15th to 17th, 2024 at the Connecticut Convention Center. And it's put on by That's For Entertainment. Okay. Woo! Ready to talk about today's episode?
Yes.
All right. Sounds good. So I just wanted to say that I needed an open... Okay. I'm just going to say something I probably shouldn't be saying. I'm not going to name any names or anything, but I've mentioned in the past that I work in radio. And recently, the company that owns us sold half of the radio stations, including my radio station. So currently I'm still employed, fingers crossed. And it could take a while for the CRTC to put it through and all that stuff. So it's kind of been a little bit of eggshells for the last couple of weeks. People are like, what's going on? Da, da, da. But I feel like everybody's pretty chill now. Everything's good. The new company seems great. Some of the managers have met with the owner and he seems like a really good guy. We're also in the middle of moving our offices to downtown because the building that we're in is going to get demolished. So there's other layer of things going on. So there's a lot of like work stuff going on.
Lots of moving parts.
And normally, Lots of moving parts. So normally in February, we have a sales conference. So I've been with the company for about 7 years. Everything's good. So the first 2 years I was allowed to go to the sales conference. I'm a sales coordinator. I'm not actual sales rep. Then they're like, actually, no, you can't come anymore. It's just for the sales reps. I'm like, okay, whatever. Because it was a big thing in Toronto and we would stay overnight and go to all these conferences and have food and all that jazz. So then during the pandemic, they switched it all to online meetings. So you had to be online at this specific day. It was now 1 day instead of 2. You're stuck there for like 9 hours. They track to make sure that you're there, whatever. And they have some good guest speakers and stuff, whatever. So this year they didn't do it, which now we're realizing it's because they were in the process of selling the company, parts of the company at this point. So we're like, okay, whatever. That's fine. Nobody really wants to go to the sales conference. So then like this week we get a box in the mail for all of the sales reps and for me. We're like, oh, okay. And it's from like the VP of the company of the sales. We're like, oh, okay. So we open it up and it is items branded with our company name on it. The company that, I'm not going to say which company, but they made a comment saying that radio is not viable. And that was like a whole big scuff. So yeah, so now we all received, just the sales team, a water bottle with the company logo, a tote bag, vitamin C tablets, and a notebook. And then everyone's like, okay, is this like a going away gift? Like here was your station. And I don't know. So it was a bit of a scuff and like the other department's like, oh, great. I'm glad we fired people so that you guys can have water bottles. And we're like, okay, great. So awkward. So anyways, I brought this stuff home and I was not meaning to use it. Okay. But I just have to say, the bag is a really good quality bag. And so is the notebook. And I was using the notebook to write notes and I was like, oh, I'm going to hate this notebook. And I was like, damn it, this notebook is really nice. So I was like annoyed with myself, but look at how like lovely this pen writes. And it's just so good. So I just thought that was amusing. You know,
that's all good.
That has nothing to do with anything. But anyways,
at least it's not like a stale cookie.
True, but they've never given us anything before, ever. So they've never given, I guess at the conference, I think one time they gave us like a tambourine or something. I don't know. But they were little bells that we had to ring. I don't know. So I was like, so this is the year you've decided to bestow gifts on us with the radio station company that half of us no longer work for or won't.
Do you think it was before they planned to fire people? Because
they knew what they were doing ahead of time.
Okay. Because I was like, that's kind of weird to send
a while to get these items. So I was just like, this is such a weird thing, but I kind of like them as well. So I feel kind of bad that I feel bad that I like them. And I was just like, oh, right, fine. I will accept these gifts. But yeah, good times.
Pulling your arm.
Pulling my arm. My timer is not showing. What time are we at right now?
27 minutes.
27. Okay, so we're about 10 minutes in. Why did it do that? I have no idea. When we record on Lydia's computer, it always shows the right time. I have no idea why it doesn't on mine. But anyways, so what we are going to talk about this week. Oh, and apologies that we did not record an episode last week. Thank you for checking out some of our old episodes. We have 280 of them. So there's an episode for everyone. Yes. So we found a podcast. It came out a couple of weeks ago. Okay. So it is called Steve-O's Wild Ride Podcast. So
he's from Jackass, right?
So he's from Jackass. So the episode that we reviewed is episode 199 with Joey Fatone. Sorry, if you're looking for it on YouTube, it's under Joey Fatone on who got the most groupie action in NSYNC. Wild Ride 199. I'm like, oh, great. So it's going to be like one of these. And I would just like to, this is Steve-O. I have no clue who any of the other people are.
I think it's just part of. I don't know if
they were from Jackass or are these just his podcast team. There was Hat Guy and Blue Shirt Guy is what I refer to.
I don't recall seeing these two on Jackass because like sometimes they would show videos on TV. I don't recall these people.
Yeah.
So it's probably just podcast people.
So basically, for Jackass was more of an American show. We did play it a little bit in Canada, but it was basically American. And we are not the demographic for this show. It was like teenage boys who get into stupid shit type. I feel like that was kind of the demographic because it was a bunch of dudes pulling pranks on each other and doing gross things, right?
Yeah. Basically. I feel like Much Music played it.
Maybe they did, yeah. But did you ever watch it back in the day?
I feel like I've seen like in passing and changing channels. Like, oh, what is this? Just this Jackass.
They're
Okay.
like, oh, they're shoving something off their butt or they're jumping off the
Yeah.
building.
Okay, I don't want to watch this. Let me
Yeah,
turn.
like, I don't want to see you dying or getting injured or whatever the fuck
Yes.
you're doing. So again, so we're not the demographic. They obviously had quite a huge demographic, whatever. So I was just like, I don't know. And even just like the catchphrase here at the beginning, I was like, what kind of, is this going to be like kind of like a Howard Stern-y type thing or whatever? I also just want to point out
the biggest star, I guess, from that show was Johnny Knoxville.
Johnny Knoxville, yes.
And I also know of Johnny Knoxville not only from that, but he also did some stuff with WWE. So basically, the knowledge that I know of Jackass is from WWE.
Well, okay, fair enough, fair enough. So what I have to say though, so I went in with very low expectations. However, I really enjoyed this. Did you listen to it or?
I did, a majority of it, yes.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay,
wasn't
these
bad.
guys are actually fun and like whatever. So I thought it was good. There was obviously some questionable questions, but for the most part, it wasn't like dramatically bad. And then at the end, he's like, oh my God, we asked you all these questions. I'm like, did you? Because whatever. But anyways, as you can see, Joey, first I thought he was just wearing a weird orange shirt with stripes. Then I realized he was wearing Bert. Is this Bert? Or Ernie?
Yes. Bert?
Hey, Bert. Hey, Ernie.
Yeah, I think it's Bert.
Ernie.
Oh, Ernie. Yeah. I couldn't really tell,
Bert
to be honest.
from Sesame Street. Okay, Bert is the
To
yellow
be honest,
one.
I wasn't
Ernie is
really
the
paying
orange.
close attention to his shirt. I was just watching the show.
Okay, so just to confirm, share this tab instead. This is Ernie, so that's what he is wearing. And
All
they
right,
recorded
this is
this
Ernie.
on a cruise.
A Practical
Yes,
Jokers
so-
cruise.
It was recorded on a cruise. Yeah, that was it. Yeah. Practical Jokers, which Joey is a part of or just friends with them?
I think he's friends with them. Maybe he did some things with them, but I think it's just a friends thing.
I think, yeah, and he like does things and hosts things and all that stuff. So
Yes.
alrighty, I'm gonna get
But what are
into
the
my
chances like he's on there with the Jackass people or one of them?
yeah.
And then okay, let's do an interview on the cruise in our cabin. Okay.
Well, you know what? You're stuck on a boat anyways. You can't really get anywhere, so might as well just do this. So it's
Let's
actually
make some
good.
content. Why not?
Exactly. So, okay. So I'm just gonna get in. Feel free to jump in if you have anything. So, so then he starts off. So Steve-O starts off in like his like recording studio or editing studio or something, which he goes back to several times during, which I thought was very entertaining. But I will digress.
Yes.
Anyways, so he said like this was juicier than hell. Nothing was off limits. Joey Fatone, such a great guy. Whatever. So then they jump in. So they apparently met way back in the day on the Steel Panther set of a music video. But they didn't really like talk. They exchanged phone numbers and then never talked to each other again after that. It was
Which
just
is
like, oh, hey.
very funny.
But still apparently kept their phone, the numbers in the phone. So yes. So they hit it off right away. They never talked. He bumped into him again on this Impractical Jokers boat cruise. So he's like, oh, hey, Joe Fatone's here. Okay, cool. So then he called Joey Fatone the Vanilla Ice of the Impractical Jokers cruise, which made no sense to me. Apparently, I guess Vanilla Ice went to go see some band a whole bunch of times and was always there, but wasn't actually performing. And I guess this is what Joey does. I don't know.
I didn't really get the reference because isn't Vanilla Ice, wasn't he like a bad thing that happened in the 90s?
No, but I think they were talking about how Vanilla Ice is always on tour with somebody. Can't remember
Oh,
who.
okay, maybe. Okay.
I don't know.
I might have missed
Okay.
that part.
So right off the bat, the very first question that he asks is, which member of NSYNC crushed the most beef?
And
At
then
this point,
Joey
Joey
was
did not understand.
beef. What beef?
So first he thought he said beef, and he's like, well, obviously Lance because he's gay, right? Type thing. But then it was like there was some confusion, and they're like beef, like beaver, like pussy. And then Joey very deflected it by saying, I don't know, I guess I'm gonna have to smell everyone's fingers. And I was like,
Yeah, he was. I think he said
was
like,
like-
"Oh, I'm not sure. I haven't smelled everyone's fingers to see how much." I was like, Joey, oh
I
my
was
god.
just like, well, okay, This is starting off on a good note, but
I was like, okay, this could be one of those shows.
it's gonna be one of those. Joey has no filter.
Yes.
So anyway, so then they were making fun of Joey because he apparently brought 4 people as an entourage, and they were all like crammed in this room. So he was saying that back in the day there was a lot of lobby love because girls were hanging out in the lobby, but nothing like. He basically implied that they were not hoes like the guys, and they weren't sleeping around that much. Who knows if he's telling the truth? But also the girls were underage, a lot of them. So anyway, so they would hang in because when they first started, like Justin was 14, Lance was 16, Joey was 17, JC was 18, and Chris was 24. So they got together in 95.
That's
96.
kind of like Kevin, right? Kevin was the oldest in Backstreet Boys, and Nick was the youngest.
Yes,
It was
basically.
like a weird age range there as well.
But I feel in this case, Chris acts a lot younger than his age, whereas Kevin acts a lot older than his age. So
that is very true.
yes. So then continuing on with the smelling of the fingers, he was talking about there was a lot of smelling and not a lot of penetration. I was like, okay, Joey, thank you for sharing this information. But he also at this point mentioned that most of them did have girlfriends. So they weren't really hooking up with people. Again, who knows?
And he also said like they're in a boy band, so you can't really have that kind of image where you're sleeping around.
Right, exactly.
Because you're like squeaky clean kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. We're like Kiss or somebody that's like their big thing. We've hooked up with all these thousands of women and shit like that. So and then he also brought up the point that Justin's mom was on tour with them as a chaperone. So again, you don't really get a lot of alone time there.
Yes.
And then Lance
Justin, like you said, was 14 years old.
So I don't think Justin was hooking up with people with his mom there in the lobby. And then Lance's mom was on tour with them as a tutor because Diane is a teacher. So they were like, oh, perfect. You're a teacher. Come on tour and teach them. And it was basically just teaching Lance and Justin because Joey and the others were older and they're like, fuck off. We don't need to do this shit.
Right. They're like, okay, we're going to go party or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So basically they were living in a bus and van in Germany for about 2.5 years. 1997 they started getting big in Europe because of the Backstreet Boys. So he did acknowledge that the Backstreet Boys opened the door for them in Europe. Yes. So they're the ones who kind of went through. And then once the door was open for boy bands, they were able to just kind of like waltz in.
And they said like it wasn't as hard for them as the Backstreet Boys. The Backstreet Boys obviously struggled. They had 2 years in Europe.
Yes, exactly.
So it was a lot easier for NSYNC, as he mentioned.
For sure. And then in the States, then the Backstreet Boys and Spice Girls and Hanson came. And then basically NSYNC just took all the Backstreet Boys scraps. So the things the Backstreet Boys didn't want to do, like the Disney special, and that's what kind of propelled them in North America. Yeah. So they were talking about like how big were the tours. And so he was saying like in Europe, it was like 2,300, 5,000 people at shows. And then Joey was like, what you see is what you get with me. I'm not trying to be anyone else. So basically he doesn't have a different persona. Whatever Joey is, Joey. So he's just going to talk and say shit and whatever and be chill and have a
yes. He was saying that he jokes around the same jokes that he says in private, he says on television. So. And
fair enough. We've met him at a bunch of cons. That man just
no
says
filter.
Things and no filter. He's hilarious. He I think you have to be. He's very funny. He's very entertaining. Yes. So when he was a kid, he looked up to New Kids on the Block and Boys to Men as inspiration, and then eventually they were working with them, which was cool. So then Steve-O asked if there were any brawls or jealous boyfriends. So then he retold the story that him and I believe Justin were at a club. No, he was at a club. He was surrounded by a bunch of women. So this guy comes up to him and is like, "You're fucking gay." And Joey's like, well, who cares if I am, but whatever. And he's like, you're talking to me instead of all the women around. So doesn't that make you gay? And the guy's like, whatever, blah, blah. I'm like, yes. So he's just like, instead of like trying to pick up women, this guy's all being all macho and like, oh, putting Joey down. Right. And then there was another time where Joey and Justin were at a bar and a guy tried to get in a fight with them to show he was cool in front of the girls. And then he stood up and this guy was super tall and they were short. And then like the bodyguards started fighting each other. It was just apparently shenanigans.
It was wild times, apparently.
Yes, for sure. So then Steve-O was saying, so they were together for about 7 years, which is how long the Beatles were together. And NSYNC sold 70 million albums during that time. And so Steve-O said, you were bigger than the Beatles. So at this point, it cuts to him in his little room
In studio doing an
studio to do a commercial for some clothes called.
So at this point, I wasn't paying attention. So I was like, what the hell? What a segue into this ad.
It was pretty funny. He was just like, swipe into here. So in case you would like to buy these clothes, that's all he wears. Outknown.com/Stevo, promo code Stevo, you get 25% off. I'm like, why am I writing this down? What the hell does this have to do with the episode?
I just think you thought it was funny and you're like,
I was amused by it. And there's additional ones and it just got funnier as it went along. So.
I thought it was pretty funny as well.
Yeah, so it came back. So then Joey said, Steven Tyler came up to him and said, when are you getting back together? The last time I heard screams that loud was when I went to go see Beatles concert in the 60s. So he's like, and then they were kind of chatting about whether the Beatles are considered a boy band, which we've also discussed a bunch of times. And then Joey's like, they could play instruments, and JC and Justin wrote. They're kind of more of a vocal group, but they accept the boy band term. Then there was a guy with a hat. So he was all like, when you started getting the money, what did you buy? So what kind of stupid shit did you buy? So then Joey was like, they were a middle-class family. He didn't know anything about investing or anything. They're just a regular run-of-the-mill people. But he got a house with a custom couch with all different colored pillows. He said the house cost $250,000, but he wanted a Star Wars room in this house. And that the room cost $400,000. So the room cost more than the entire fucking house.
Star Wars is a big deal.
Put his hand on the door and it open and stuff, and then they were calling him gay at that point, and they're like, it was anyways. So then they started talking about the Lou Pearlman documentary, which we have talked about a bunch of times on the podcast.
Yes, and we did a review on it.
Yes, we've done a seance with Lou. Just look up Lou Pearlman in our podcast, and you can find it. Anyways, so. Joey was saying that Lou was a smart businessman for himself. He would always compete Backstreet Boys and NSYNC together, but also would keep them apart so they couldn't tell each other things. He made himself the sixth member. He made them as a manager, this. So he was getting a cut of everything. But then he did the Ponzi scheme. So and then he's like, I don't know why he had a successful business. He was making lots of money, but then he was just greedy. So that's basically what happened.
The greed took over.
The greed took over. So then they're talking about recoupable costs. So basically anytime they would go out to dinner or something, Lou would pay. So they're like, oh, that's so nice that Lou's paying for everything. But he would keep track of everything and take that out of the money that they would earn.
Very sneaky.
Yes. So one example was they were filming the Tearing Up My Heart video, and it was around Joey and Justin's birthday. So Lou's like, I'm going to buy you this Armani jacket. And Joey's like, holy crap, it's a $250 jacket. That's amazing. And then when they got the paperwork, the jacket was a billable expense. So basically Joey paid for his own birthday present. So that's basically how it was added to the list. Yes. So then there was some confusion because they were talking about how in the documentary they always say they only got $10,000 or $20,000 from Lou after working their asses off. So I've never really computed how he was able to buy all this shit. So he said that they didn't buy the stuff until they were away from Lou. So once that shut down and they sued and all that other stuff, and then No Strings Attached came out, that's where they made all their money. Lou didn't get a cut of that. And that's when he was spending his money on stupid shit like cars and houses and things like that. So then Steve-O decided to bring up allegations of diddling because Lou Pearlman, he's like, oh, did he diddle you as well? Because they keep talking about
And then he was like, I think I was too old for his diddling.
He's like, I was too old for him to diddle. And he's like, he never once hit on or touched Joey. He doesn't want to diddle an old Italian guy or whatever. So he was like, he didn't say who.
He bit the bullet there, Joey. That was funny.
So he didn't say who, but he did say that other people were creeped out by Lou, but no one has ever specifically told him a story in which something happened. Not saying that it didn't happen, but no one has specifically said, hey, Lou touched my wiener or whatever. He hasn't said, like, right? So no idea. And then they were talking if Lou was still alive, and he said he died in jail. And then he was caught overseas, and he was saying Germany. I was like, it was not Germany, it was Thailand by a German tourist. But then they talked about the picture and the FBI, and Lou was in the background. And yeah, so.
That was crazy.
Yes. So then it went back to Steve-O's studio for another commercial for the Squatty Potty.
Yes.
And this has been helping him shit for 12 years for number 2. He just kept talking about number 2 and shitting. And
apparently you
like
squat and it's easier for your bladder.
Better on your thing. Yeah, I've heard of it. Like, obviously, but anyways, it's supposed to be good for you. And there's
whatever floats your boat to help you poo.
You know? Exactly. So now we're back on the cruise. So then this is where Joey said that he bought a 4-acre house in Florida. It was 10,000 square feet. He loved it. It was a 5-car garage for some reason. He's like, why? I don't know. Just because. And I think he mentioned that the car had the thing where it could turn around like the Batmobile. So you didn't have to back out. It would just turn. Like,
cool. That was very cool.
So then after a while, he's like, why do I have this? It's too big. His daughter's on another floor. He doesn't even see her. Like, whatever. So they moved to California. Then it was too expensive there. So they moved back to Florida. And then they were talking about like performing or something. And he said, as an entertainer, it doesn't matter how many people you're performing for. So because over the years, he's done tiny little clubs and like big arenas. And it's like, either way, just the fact of performing is enjoyable.
I've heard that from other artists as well. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just like the thrill of performing, the adrenaline rush.
And yes, exactly. And the crowd interacting and all that stuff.
Yes.
So, so then the hat guy was like, when or why was the convo to split? So Joey said, it took them 2.5 years to get a record deal, and it was go for 7 years. So they were just kind of burnt out. They were worn out. Lance was trying to do the space thing. JC and JT were writing music, and the record company basically wanted to promote Justin, kind of like
Nick Carter.
No,
Nick Carter.
Michael Jackson.
Yes, but they also trying to do that with Nick Carter.
But they didn't mention it. Yes. But then.
But that's what I thought of. Sorry, I always go back.
Yeah, for sure. Yes. And then they were talking about that, and then. So this is where I really like. So then Steve-O said that was basically what Johnny Knoxville did. He started doing stuff without him. He kind of.
He Timberlake
under the Jackass name, and then he said Knoxville Timberlake us. So I really appreciate that he uses the term Timberlake, because we use that all the time. Anytime a person leaves a band, so I'm like, good on you, Steve-O. He Timberlaked you, so yes. And then Joey was like, we both got duped by our boys, you know. And then the hat guy was like, was there any bad blood after the split? So Joey's like, not really, but he said this is kind of like the moment when he kind of realized like stuff was basically, so he said the MTV Awards was Justin's first performance. So the record company started kind of splitting them up and keeping Justin back. So they did the red carpet, but Justin wasn't with them on the red carpet. He did his own red carpet. And then NSYNC were the ones who introduced Justin on stage.
Which was weird, he said.
So he's like, really kind of weird. Like he was member of our band and now we're just introducing him on stage. So yeah, so then he blew up and the record label was obviously promoting him a lot. So then somehow went off on a tangent. Oh, because Steve-O wanted to tell his Justin Timberlake stories. So he said, I guess he did some show called Celebs I Did Cocaine With. So apparently he did cocaine with, or whatever, met up with Kid Rock in like 2004, 2005 New Year's Eve. So when he was driving there, on the radio, they were saying, oh, the highest grossing band of the year is Metallica. So he was just trying to like make conversation with Kid Rock. And he's like,
yes, they made like $100 million.
Something like that. Yeah, like $100 million. Something like that. And then, so he said to Kid Rock, I'm like, that's pretty cool that they're like, they made all this money. And then Kid Rock's like, yeah, but they have to split it 4 ways. Being a solo artist, you get to keep it all. And we're just like, okay. So they're kind of like,
which they kind of agreed with. They're like, yeah,
it's not because like in sync, you got to split it 5 ways or 6 if Lou is still there, right?
Yeah. And then you have to think about the touring, the managers, all these people.
Yeah, for sure. There's so many people,
His
right?
team, like everyone in the team, right? In the NSYNC, because it's not just one person.
True, but then I guess they also have a team, like regardless of what artist, right? So
True, that's very
yes.
true.
Okay, so then the hat guy was like, "Have you ever thought of doing?" I'm really sorry, hat guy. I don't know what your name is. Sorry. Have you ever thought of doing this? I don't think he actually introduced them.
I don't think so either. So
I think we're just supposed to know who they are. So have you ever thought of doing the solo route yourself? And then Joey was like, not really. He really wanted to do Broadway. He wanted to do hosting. And basically he's not really doing shit for the money. He just does it because it's fun and he wants to do it. So he's in that good position where he doesn't have to do things for money, but anything that he wants to do. So yeah. So then there was another commercial break at this point for the Blue Chew tablet, which is basically like a Viagra type pill. So you can get a free box and only pay shipping. And I was like, oh God. And it was really awkward. Like, I'm like, okay, whatever. Again, his audience would buy it, so it's fine.
Like I said, the segues are like, okay, I guess
it was
this is
pretty
a segue
entertaining
to the new ad. All right.
And you know what? I kind of like how he does that, the transition though, because like it would be awkward for him to be interviewing Joey and then start talking about Viagra. Like
that's true,
right?
Some podcasts do that. You're like talking, and then all of a sudden there's an ad they're saying. Yes. So
one of these days we might have ads and make money. Today's not that day.
Hopefully one day.
Yes. Whatever. We, as like Joey Fatone, we do it for love. If I get fired, I would like to do it for money. So just
yes. Well, hopefully you don't get fired.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
All right. So Joey was on season 4 of Dancing with the Stars. He came in second place. Apparently,
Steve kept saying you're season 2. Wikipedia did you wrong if you're season 4.
I feel like I kind of wanted to fact check him, but I didn't. I'm too lazy to do that right now. So, so then they're and then I guess Steve-O was on, and he was kicked off the second week or something, or
6 weeks. He said he was on
6 weeks in. He said he was the second worst dancer, but they kept him on because I guess fans voted for him or whatever. So they were talking about how grueling it is.
Joey was on the All-Star one, and he said
he was on the alum. Oh, that's my note. Yes, Joey was on the alum, and he was kicked off the second week. So
yes.
So basically, it was very grueling. Your body hurts in ways that never hurt before.
Because you have to do like posture. You have to do like the angles of your feet. Like it's weird. It's crazy.
Exactly. So so he said it was a good way to showcase his personality because a lot of people just kind of knew him as a member of NSYNC. So that he liked that. He was actually asked to be on the first season. He said no because he hadn't whatever. And then he asked for and the numbers kept growing. So by 4th season, he's like, okay, let's do this.
Because apparently he said there was 32 million people who watched the season 4. So he's like, oh, this is excellent for me.
You're like, this is a good number.
Put my name out there.
And then they were saying like,
because it was so true. If you were on Dancing with the Stars, that helped propel you to other stardom, to do other things as well.
For sure. Especially in the beginning, they had a lot more stars, and now it's kind of like, back then it was very prestigious, and now basically, you're an influencer. Come on, like
Yeah, you're a celebrity. Come on.
Oh my God. So then he was talking about how like you're in a boy band. You're like, so Steve-O was talking about like, there's 5 of you, whatever, you're all kind of work together, do your thing. But when they do Dancing with the Stars, you realize who the weakest link on your team is. And that was Lance. And he's like, Lance.
Yes. Oh my God. When I heard that, I was like, wow. Right.
Yeah. So that was pretty funny. So then they were talking like, what's more grueling, Dancing with Stars or Broadway? So Joey said that Broadway is grueling because it's 8 shows a week for 6 months. But they also said, so Steve-O was like, but it's easier with Dancing with Stars because on Broadway it's repetitive. There's nobody judging you. Like there's no judges saying you suck. Like, so he said Dancing with Stars was very stressful. He was newly sober at the time, Steve-O, and it was very stressful for him to be on the show.
They would probably drive him to drink if he was on any longer.
Yep. So Joey was saying that other celebrities call him for advice, and he's like, why not do it? It opens up your demographic so people know you from different things.
Yep.
He was talking about how like a mother was like, oh, you were in NSYNC, and the grandmother was like, oh, no, he was on Dancing with the Stars. So like people know him from various things.
See, different age demographics.
Exactly. So then they were talking about how great of a host Tom Bergeron was, and he was the best.
Yes, he was the best.
Then Steve-O was talking about a new NSYNC song for the Trolls movie, and there was rumbling of a tour. But then he was talking about how the record labels probably think it's cheaper to just have one person instead of 5, because now you don't have to have all the hotel rooms and all the other costs associated, right? So Joey's like, well, why not do it? We're only here once. He's always game for getting back together. So then Steve-O was talking about his 2 Justin Timberlake stories, and he's like, do you still talk? And Joey's like, yeah, we have a group chat.
I always appreciate them talking about the group chat.
Yes, good old group chats. And they go, we email and talk about merch. So Steve-O said he was coked out in 2007 Super Bowl. He was still wide awake the next day. And Johnny Knoxville was putting Xanax in his soup to help him calm the fuck down, but it didn't work. So then he had to go pee. So as he's walking there, he passed to go piss in some bushes. He passed by Justin Timberlake. And then he was talking about a major beef with Prince, but then because he was a dick. Anyway, so then basically Justin let him pee in his room or something, and he's like, oh my god, great. So then he was talking about his Prince encounter, and he gave me so much joy to have him rained on. Oh, he was talking about how it rained at the Super Bowl and it gave him such joy. So then Justin's like, okay, go pee in my room and lock the door. He's like, okay. So then Joey was saying that Prince was an asshole.
Yeah, I've heard not so many good things about that.
A little strange guy. So basically Steve-O said he had this trick where he'd bounce a drink on his head and he would have to drink it without spilling it or using his arms. And he was dating a Sports Illustrated model, and Prince in a condescending tone was like, does this impress you? And then the girlfriend was like, yeah. And he's like, huh, whatever. And then Joey said he was partying in New York City after the VMAs, and it was the Nelly and NSYNC after party. So there was only celebrities at this event. So Prince was upstairs in the VIP area. This is the time you have like the disposable cameras. So so Joey's like, oh, okay, cool. So it was just Prince and one other guy that Prince was talking to. So that guy left. So Joey turned to him. He's like, hey, it's Joey. He's like, yeah, I know who you are. And he's like, can I take a picture with you? And Prince was like, I'd rather not. And then turned around to pretend to talk to somebody, but there was nobody else there. So it was just awkward because it was just the two of them up there. And Joey's like, okay, great.
Oh my God, that was funny.
Yes. So then Steve-O said that his second Justin encounter, they were in like an exotic location. He was dating Cameron Diaz at the time. And it wasn't Steve-O, but a member of his crew went up to ask for a pic and said, hey, Justin, like, I hate to bother you. And then he's like, so don't. And like walked away. And I was like, yeah, it sounds like Justin to me.
Yeah.
So then Joey was like, unless I'm doing something, I'll take a picture with somebody. The one time I didn't, I was arguing with my wife at a theme park, and somebody's like, can we get a picture? And he's like, not the right time, buddy. Like, and then also while eating, no. And he's like, I would take picture after you're done the meal. So he said this to this lady at the mom come up, and she's like, can I get a picture? My daughters want to take a picture. And he's like, I'm just going to eat. You let me know when you guys are leaving, and then I'll come out and get a picture, but not right now. But the daughters were taking pictures the whole time while he was there. So he just kept seeing the flash. So that pissed him off. So when the mom came back, she's like, yeah, no. I'm like, your daughters have been taking pictures this entire time, whatever. I'm not taking a picture. So then the mom was like, oh, whatever. And she went to go walk away. And then Joey's mom smacked him in the head and made him go take a picture.
Oh my God, that was funny.
So she's like, there's always a time and a place.
Because she's like, the fans are the reason why you even have this job.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
yes, I understand, like, you're eating, but also it's like 2-second photo.
Exactly. So his mom keeps him humble. So
That's
basically,
right.
Another time he was with Justin, and a lady came to take a picture, which they did, and then she went away, and then she brought back all her family, and he's like, no, like, I already took a picture with you, whatever. So, but he said for the most part, he will take pictures with people. Then Steve-O was like, I get annoyed after a certain point, and then like in 2001, he was so frustrated, and then somebody said to him, there's going to be a time when nobody wants to take pictures with you, so take the pictures now type thing. So they kind of both agreed on that. But then they were talking about how it's like a chain reaction. One person noticed you, then another person, and then it's just like a zombie apocalypse. Everybody's like coming up, which on the Backstreet Boys cruise, I can 100% agree that is definitely.
That's definitely happens. Yep.
But then Joey's like, we love our fans. Totally. So then Steve-O was just talking about how great Joey is. He's like, I was always a fan of you, but I didn't know how good you would be. You're totally unflappable. And then Joey's like, life is too short to worry about things outside of your control, which is very
Very
good.
true.
Like, we stress out a lot. He was saying his mom had to go for testing and she was all stressed out. And he's like, don't stress out now. Find out the results. Like, you could be stressing for no reason, like whatever. So it's very good.
It's a good point.
It's a very good point. And then Steve-O said that Joey is basically the epitome of don't sweat the small stuff. So then they started talking about the tour with AJ in March, that they sing each other's songs, crack jokes. And then they went on this tangent about StubHub scalping tickets, but I'm like, that's literally what StubHub is. It's a resale site. But anyway, so they're like, oh, the algorithms and this. And then it looks like you're buying it from the official site, but you're not. And then Joey was saying in the olden days, not him, but like before, like they had ticketing things online, that sometimes a lot of bands would scalp their own tickets. Like they would keep the front row and then sell them to other people. So scalping has been around forever. And then they were talking about on YouTube, if you watch things, like if you watch music now, it'll say like, oh, upcoming dates near you. So the guys were excited because they're comedians, but they're like, no, we're only doing that with music, not comedy. So, and then this random guy, Paul Brisley, came up to ask some questions. So then Paul was like, when NSYNC broke up, was there a day when you realized, oh shit, it's over? So Joey said, the last challenge for the children, which is the one that I was at, I believe. And he's like, oh shit, now what? But then Joey said, but I got the chance to do things I wouldn't have done before, like Broadway. He said it helped being famous and young. So when he came home, he was very humbled. He didn't know how to do things. He didn't know how to do laundry or pay bills. So his wife/girlfriend at the time was like, kept him very grounded because they also had a baby and all that stuff, right? So
yeah, he learned very quickly.
He learned very quickly real life. So yes, because like when NSYNC was huge, basically he was still living with his parents, so he wasn't dealing with any stuff. So yeah. So then Paul said, do people still say you're Joey from NSYNC? And he's like, it doesn't bother me. He's like, people know me from NSYNC. A lot of people from My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Yes.
Which apparently this Paul guy was a big fan of. And then he was talking about that the reason how he got on that was after That Thing You Do, which is, I yelled because they called it the wrong show earlier on. I was like, that's the wrong answer. Anyway, so Tom Hanks had done that movie and they wanted to do something with NSYNC, which they were going to do kind of like that or like a remake of Grease or something like that. Like a Beatles movie. But didn't really come to fruition. But Joey just happened to stop by the studio one day to like, to check in and see how things were going. And his friend worked there. She's like, oh, there's this audition for this Big Fat Greek Wedding. You'd be great for it. Go audition. So he did, and obviously got the part. So then the guy in the blue shirt said, is there any advice for Paul? Because he's a musician, and so he doesn't get fucked in the music business. So then Joey said, he's known his manager for years. He tells them everything and gives them straight up honesty, where a lot of people will like sugarcoat and like yes man and all that stuff.
Always good to have honesty.
It's always good for sure, because you don't want people
honesty
just
is the best policy, as they say.
As they say. So then at this point, because you were wondering, oh, where did Steve-O go? Because apparently I zoned out and didn't notice this. He was in the bathroom and flushed the toilet and came out and you're just like, and the bathroom was right behind where Paul was. And they're like, oh, okay.
He washed his hands.
I'm like, okay, this is weird. So then blue shirt's like, oh, you had to go up. So he like got up so Steve-O could take his spot so then he could go pee. I was like, is this the old man peeing podcast? Like, what's going on? So then like,
it's musical chairs of peeing.
So then Joey was just talking about how life is too fucking short to get upset over things. And then Steve-O was just so happy that nothing was off limits with Joey, and Joey answered all his questions, but I didn't think they were that like.
I feel like he's answered all of these questions like numerous times.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
I feel like we knew most of these answers.
Yeah, but it's always still good. Yeah, for sure. And I feel like, again, being on this podcast will open him up to a lot more guys, right? And different demographics.
Exactly, yes.
So there you go.
So good to explain it for the new people.
Right, for sure, for sure. So then Joey's like, my shit is an open book. Then for some reason they went back and I guess Howard Stern also asked about sniffing of fingers and then they were making jokes about smelling fingers and I was like, okay, great. So
who knew this was a big deal?
Apparently. So then Steve was like, oh shit, I got to host this belly flop contest in 5 minutes. So we got to go. Okay, thanks for being on the show, blah, blah. because they're on the cruise. And then it cut back to him in the studio, and he's like, "Oh my God, Joey was so fun. It was such a great thing." And he said that apparently right after they finished, they all bolted out of the room, ran across the boat, ran through the buffet, grabbed a bunch of plates of cake, and were shoving cake in their face to make it to this belly flop competition. And yeah, so there you go.
So they ended on a high note.
So they ended on a high note for sure. So yeah. So anyways, I didn't really know much about Steve-O ahead of time. I like vaguely knew of him, but I thought it was actually a really good podcast. It was a good interview. So again, if you're looking for that, it is called Wild Ride with Steve-O, episode 199.
I feel like you can't go wrong with Joey.
You honestly, Joey Fatone is fucking hilarious, and we love him.
He's good times
for sure. Okay, so I guess that's it for now. We have a couple of concerts coming up in the next month. We've made it to March, so we have 2 concerts. If anyone is coming to Westlife on the Monday in Toronto, we will be there. I don't know where we're
March 11th? Is it?
March 11th, yes. So
something hall? Something hall. I forget what the first word.
Meridian Hall.
Meridian, there you go.
Yes,
Meridian Hall.
Right by Union Station. So we will be at that show. It looks like all 3 Toronto shows entirely sold out. They do have like resale tickets, obviously, but it sold out pretty quickly. And there was only originally 1 show. And then I think that was the 13th. And then they added additional shows. So I think we're actually going to the first show of the tour.
Wow.
So feel free to check out our Facebook.
Or like the guinea pigs. Like if something doesn't go right, they can change the next day.
Exactly. So check out our Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all that jazz to see stuff. And yeah, so we'll definitely be talking about that. And what else? At the end of the month. Yeah. Yes. We're on a road trip with our friend Leslie, and we are going to Grand Rapids, Michigan to watch a symphonic boy band show. I don't know. So it's
on
basically
March 29th. On Good 29th. Friday.
Good Friday. We're going to make it a great Friday. As of right now, they still have not released any meet and greet stuff. But anyways, we have pretty good tickets for that. I believe we're on the left.
Yes.
If you're going, hit us up and maybe we'll come say hi.
Hopefully it doesn't get canceled. I don't know how ticket sales have gone.
I haven't checked the ticket sales in a while. But they're reasonably priced, guys. And so it's Joey. Sorry, it's not Joey at all. It is Chris from NSYNC.
The other funny one.
The other hilarious NSYNC member.
Sarcastic
boy band.
He's funny too.
And a night of symphonic boy bands by the Grand Rapids Symphony. So that is Friday, March 29th.
I'm quite interested to see what it entails. What is it going to be like?
No clue. There are still tickets available. They're very reasonably priced. They're only like $22.
Is there a lot of tickets available? Or
I'm just waiting for the page to load.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So hopefully it does not get canceled. I will show you.
Do they still perform even if it's like less than like?
I think it depends. I feel like I don't know. So they obviously didn't sell the back section, but they still have quite a few seats. They're all pretty good seats. I believe we're kind of like up here in the fronty area around.
It's pretty
here.
good, like for that kind of thing. Like
yeah. So basically
4 or 5 rows of sold. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's a symphony, and so it's like Jeff Timmons, Eric Michael Estrada from O-Town, and Chris Kirkpatrick of NSYNC. And yeah, so that should be pretty fun. So if you haven't bought your tickets yet for that, they're very cheap. I don't know in the States, but in Canada, it's a holiday, so we get the day off. So
why not have some fun?
Why not? Yes, so
content for the podcast.
There you go. We're doing this for you guys. We're going out there and sharing our experiences. So
that's right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that is about it because we are way over. So, all right. So thanks for taking a break with us, guys.
Until next time.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.